Ever since Ghost of Yotei was unveiled, it has faced major controversy, and the Access media has tried to say it's a smashing success and it's done better than Sony's biggest expectations. But if your game is doing so phenomenal, you don't just leave a company, you continue creating, you continue pushing a series, and that is not what is happening because Sucker Punch is going through a major shakeup. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there who really liked Yotei, and I'm glad that so many people did. I loved Tsushima when it came out all those years ago, but I didn't have any interest in really supporting Erika Ishii, the activists behind this project, and really they killed all of my hype behind it. That's just my opinion. It is what it is, but I don't think that this game has quite been the smashing success the media wants you to believe because they haven't boasted, they haven't really talked about numbers, they haven't actually been transparent, and companies don't have to be, but we also don't have to put our trust and our faith into them either. And now we are hearing that apparently Sucker Punch is going through a major shakeup, which doesn't sound positive. I understand that within this industry, people come and people go. Maybe you have win after win after win, and at some point you're just going to have to leave a company and it's going to be a coincidence, but it doesn't really seem that way, at least to me and a lot of other people. When you are making a lot of money and your company that you helped found is doing phenomenal, you don't just jump ship, and that's what's happening right now because the Ghost of Yotei developer Sucker Punch is undergoing this huge change, and Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced that their lead and co-founder Brian Fleming will step down after nearly 3 decades. Starting at the beginning of 2026, creative and technical leaders Jason Connell and Adrian Bentley will be the studio heads for the developer that created the critically lauded Ghost of Yotei. Over the past year, Fleming has been working with PlayStation Studios to find his successors. As a result, Connolly and Bentley have been chosen as the new Sucker Punch studio heads as they have been instrumental in shaping the creative and technical direction of Sucker Punch in recent years, and the co-creative director Nate Fox will remain in his current role. So Connell was co-creative director of the popular Ghost franchise and has been integral in shaping the studio's identity and storytelling style. Bentley previously led the studio's engineering and production efforts as technical director, and the announcement states that together they represent the perfect blend of creative vision and technical excellence that has always set the studio apart. Now, to me, what is such a major red flag is the direction that Sony has been headed in and how this has failed before. I know it was on a much larger scale, but we had heard in 2024 that PlayStation was doing this co-CEO direction, and then they actually dropped Herman Hulst and simply went in the direction of the single CEO because the ex-Guerrilla Games managing director Herman Hulst was appointed co-CEO alongside the platform business group bigwig Hideki Nishino following the departure of Jim Ryan, but that run was over very quickly as Nishino will now take sole CEO control of Sony Interactive Entertainment, the Sony business subsidiary which contains PlayStation. So they have over the years really tried to have studios and the company at large kind of be ran by multiple people. And I get that it almost has an advantage because it means you have more eyes on something. It's not just one single person being blamed for poor decisions, but at the same time, it means that there can be internal strife. There can be disagreements. Maybe people see a very different path forward for the company, and it can create a lot of problems. And sure, Sucker Punch has found a lot of success over the years, but there are still, 250 employees that they have to manage, and I don't think that their next step forward is another Ghost game. I think that they have burnt a lot of the fans that they gained with Tsushima. They are probably going to have to go back to the drawing drawing board and work on some of their other series like Sly, for example, or Infamous. But at the same time, I just think that this does not look good, because when your game is a smashing success, like the media wants to say, you don't just lose somebody who is running the show. You don't just drop co-founders like this. And again, maybe this is very coincidental timing. Maybe there's nothing really behind this, but Brian Fleming stepping out the door now just doesn't look like a good sign to me, and of course, a lot of other people. Jay Viper said it's not normal for a studio's founder to step down after a massively successful second entry in a trilogy. Nope, this is a pretty classic push-out. Brian probably put his balls on the line switching to Atsu. Yotei disappointed Sony internally, like we said, and now he's out the door. They should have gone with Tsushima 2. He'd still be there. And this game had a smaller budget in the grand scheme of things. From what we've heard, it was about $60 million, which is still a chunk of change, but compared to some of Sony's other titles, cough, cough, Concord, it's much smaller. And maybe it did hit some of the expectations, but not the higher end of them. And of course, companies always want to make more and more and more. And where this doesn't appear like it's going to touch the ranks and heights of Tsushima, they are maybe deciding to go in a different direction. Who really knows? Either way, though, yeah, I do think that it's very poor timing, whether it's a coincidence or not. Grum said the Ghost of Yotei studio head steps down to be replaced by 2 co-studio heads. This is the worst type of structure you can have. It should never be done, but it is often done when the owner's Sony and no confidence they have a great candidate and attempt to split what they like between 2 different people. This barely even works when there are multiple but equal startup founders. Usually what happens is there is a founder falling out, or one takes the undisputed lead. This is a vote of no confidence by Sony, and yes, I do genuinely believe that. I mean, even on PlayStation's post itself, there are a lot of people saying, yeah, GG's. I wonder what flop could have caused this. The people have spoken, bring these legends back. Yeah, and I don't think that Sucker Punch is dead and done and over and Sony's going to be shuttering them in a month, but at the same time, I think that they're going to have to actually refocus their efforts now, maybe start listening to customers. I think that it was always a very bad idea to move away from Jin Sakai, but if Erika Ishii hadn't been controversial, if you did not have the developers on this project being raging activists, I do think that the positive attention that would have followed the game leading up to the release would have made for a better situation. They'd probably have more people running to their defense, but now they don't. Make better games than Ghost of Antifa. Jumping the sinking ship. Stop the woke games. Yotei didn't sell, huh? Go woke, go broke. And we haven't heard any solid sales numbers. We had heard that it was trailing behind Tsushima by about 20%. That was the last big update that we had gotten, besides the Circana charts every single month, where they give it a placement, but they don't say the amount of sales and the amount of dollars it's made and copies that are actually out in the wild now, which definitely makes people wonder if those charts are even legitimate. That's neither here nor there. Hearing that a co-founder is now out after this recent pretty big game, yeah, it doesn't look that positive for Sucker Punch. Maybe things will go better in the future. Who knows? Maybe these 2 guys that are now at the helm of the ship will be able to do really good. Only time will tell, but it's not normal for a studio's founder to step down just a few months after what was supposed to be a massively successful sequel. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.